controlled system. It's just that simple. Laws can only exist in a controlled system because freedom means you're free. You're completely free to do whatever you want to do. Morally, I don't have to do the right thing. I don't have to do the right thing. I don't have to follow morals if I'm completely free. Think about that. If I want to smack you, I'm going to smack you. There's no law to stop me if everything is free, if you understand what I'm trying to say. The reason why I can't just do that because there's a system of control. There's laws. There's a system that is based on morality. So in this system that's controlled morally, it's wrong to slap you. But freely, I smack you, we fight, so what? It's done. And this is what we have to understand. So since we are operating in this system of control with laws, rules, this thing called morality, you have the powers that be. What are they operating in? They make the laws. They control the system. So there is no control over them. There is nobody controlling the system. There's nobody controlling the people who control and created the system. So they are completely, truly 100% free, meaning they don't have to follow laws or be moral at all. They can do what they want. And the thing with morality, when we look at it as a control, people would say right and wrong and what have you. But really, you can't judge morality without understanding. Understanding is the key to really judging morality. Because you think about it, when you walk down the street, you got a pocket full of change that you really don't need. You got plenty of money. Homeless person asks you for some change and you say no, you keep moving. Some people will say morally you was wrong. Dude, you had the money, help the guy out. And some people would say you're right. Now, the reason why you would have that disagreement is because of understanding. Some people have an understanding that, hey, this homeless guy might just be a crackhead. He might just be a wino. He want the money to get high or drunk. And the other people might say, well, this dude is probably starving. I was homeless before. I know what it feel like to be out there. Some people just have that understanding of what it's like to be out there. And they'll say, well, maybe he just really hungry and trying to get something to eat. Whatever you decide, if you don't have understanding, whatever choice you make, you walk away, not knowing, without truly understanding. So if you gave the homeless person the change, you walk away without knowing, one, if he a wino or if he really need that money to get something to eat. You walk away without understanding. So that can come back and bite you on the ass in some cases. In that case, it is what it is. Either you just save this dude life so he can't put no more smack in his arm, or you just let somebody go, a whole day without food and maybe starve to death down the line. But if you had understanding and you knew this dude really need the money, then you would say, okay, that will help you make your decision, your moral choice. You would say, okay, well, this dude hungry, I got money here. It's a no-brainer. So understanding comes into place. Now, the problem with that is, in this society, is morality can be manipulated. It can be controlled, it can be changed. Morality can be whatever the control system want us to think it is. So now, case in point, you have Scarface. A lot of us probably shouldn't be rooting for a guy like Tony Montana, a drug dealing murderer. So you watch the movie and you get sucked into the story and you have understanding about this man's life. You begin to relate with him. But morally, he's wrong. Morally, we shouldn't be rooting for this guy. We should be hoping that he gets booked. And but the whole time you watch the movie and you're hoping that he wins, he succeeds. And there's a lot of movies like that we find ourselves morally, against ourselves, rooting for evil, rooting for bad. So movies like Set It Off and Dead Presidents, American Gangster, Goodfellas, Godfather, the TV show The Sopranos, even Little Nicky, Lucifer, Damien, all these kinds of shows and movies we watch and we find ourselves rooting for the bad guy. Watching Little Nicky is a hilarious, funny movie, and we say, hey, it's just a funny movie, but a lot of people is, feeling emotional in a good way about Satan's son, Christians even. So you can understand how morality can be manipulated, how it can be controlled. Then at the same time, you get Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you watching that movie, and you like, run, girl, run. Leatherface chasing her down with a chainsaw. We ain't rooting for Leatherface. Why? Why we not rooting for Leatherface like we rooting for Scarface? You know, because the movie wasn't made. We wasn't manipulated to root for Leatherface. We don't know his story. He's a murderer. He's a killer. So is Tony Montana. But we rooting for him, and we're not rooting for Leatherface. Why? Because the movie wasn't pushed to that way. It wasn't made in a way to manipulate you to root for Leatherface. In other words, you know, if they made you understand his story, like with Jason, you know, what happened at the camp. You know, the counselors was bullshitting around and planning to have sex, and the dude drowned, and now he's killing everybody. You know, there's some people kind of sort of root for that, like get him, kill him, you know, but morally it's wrong. So you gotta understand about morals and how they can be changed and manipulated. So now when you see how it can be manipulated, how people's attitude, how their minds can be changed to fit something else, this is what's taking place in America. This is how they're getting white people, Europeans, to look at us completely different. So now when you paint a picture of a people in one type of way, it changes the mindset of other people who live a totally different life. And when you think about it, you start looking at the way white people live and black people live. It's almost like two different worlds. It's two different worlds. It's like they're experiencing, you know, reality totally different from black people, and that's by design. So I look at stuff, I peep little things about how we have been robbed of the American, so-called American dream, how it's not really meant for us, and how so much of the history of America we was cheated out of. So I watch History Channel a lot. I'm a nerd. And History Channel is a show called American Pickers. I love this show. You have a dude named Frank and Mike that go travel around to, you know, back roads of America. People who got like farms and, you know, old shacks, and these people have accumulated almost like a wealth of so-called, you might as well say like artifacts or junk, stuff from the 1910s, 20s, 30s, or what have you. That's worth a lot of money today. And I never seen an episode when it was a black person. I think maybe one episode it was like one black dude, but if it was one, no more than that. But more everywhere they go, of course, it's white people. And it's showing these white people who have accumulated so much wealth in just junk. I mean, they have old cars worth, you know, crazy money, and, you know, bike parts worth crazy money. And it's like we never had a chance to do anything like this, to accumulate this kind of wealth. It was taken away from us. We couldn't afford to buy this stuff. You have some people from back then who passed this stuff down, and they just got this stuff sitting around in they, you know, attics and barn houses. Thousands of dollars. You have some of these people sitting on millions of dollars worth of junk, and they're wealthy, but they don't look like that. And they don't be wanting to sell sometimes. They want to just hold on to the junk, just hold on to it. And it's like we was cheated out of that. We don't. Some of the stuff I've never heard of, never seen before, that these people have that's worth a lot of money, and we was cheated out of that. We never had a chance to really engage in that kind of lifestyle because it was taken from us. We was segregated. We was pushed in an area where it was, you know, poverty, where we couldn't accumulate that kind of wealth, that kind of, you know, material and stuff like that, and they was able to do that. So, you know, watching shows like that, watching shows like House Hunters, where you see predominantly mostly white families, white people going out there buying houses, nice houses and stuff like that. And again, I see not so many black people, you know, we're cheated, and it shows, and it's a picture that's being painted that, you know, we're not a part of this, you know, sort of middle class or, you know, higher class system of people, of wealthy people that's able to go out and accumulate wealth and do things. We are completely separated. And when you're looking at life that way, as white people over here, we got all this, we wealthy, this and that, and then you only see black people, and, you know, we on cops, we rapping or playing basketball. We don't have any kind of accumulation of wealth. We're on welfare, we're killing each other, we're drug dealers. It's a picture that's painted, and in this aspect, it's basically how they kind of sort of kept us in slavery on the plantation, doing what we're doing, killing each other, while they're able to still go and make money off of us now and live a life of luxury wealth and accumulate wealth, go travel and be successful and everything like that, while we stuck, back on the plantation. So my point in saying all this, and my point of this video, is to just get you guys to understand how, and you already know this, how the picture of us is painted in different ways across the world. And in every case, it's a negative light. And you get some people who are more understanding of Africans because they feel like, well, Africans are poor, they don't have much, they're willing to let it slide. The Africans over there in Spain was joking around with the people, and people was having fun with them. They wasn't treated, nobody treated them nasty or anything like that. They was treated cool, it just wasn't that kind of atmosphere. Everybody was cool. But still, that still sits in your mindset, this is all these people are good for. Because everywhere you went, in every different section of the town over there, were just Africans selling fake Louis. And it's like, one case, we right up the street from the Louis Vuitton store, and these dudes right down the street selling Louis. And it's weird. It's just something that stuck with me. Like, what is this? Like, what? It's almost like how you notice most Indian people either working at 7-Eleven or driving a cab. There might be a doctor. In some cases, there might be a dentist. But that's it. I mean, you don't really see too many Indian people doing much else. They either driving a cab or working at 7-Eleven. It's just how it is. And it's like, a lot of people don't find that weird. It's like, well, what's up with that? How come I only see you? And then when you start to understand the caste system, and understand how certain people can't do certain things, and how if they sent you here to make money and to bring your family over, you have to follow or take the job that they gave you under contract or what have you. So it's a system of racism that, even though a lot of people don't understand a lot of things about it, and we just think people chose certain jobs and doing certain things, it's racism attached to it, not just for African people, Indians and Hispanics or what have you. You see this stuff. So if we not taking control of our possessions, of what is really rightfully ours, and saying this is ours, and this is the history of it or what have you, I mean, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. They're going to take it, they're going to run with it, they're going to cross us out of it and make it look like we never was there and never inhabited the place. So this is the picture that they paint of us. They're painting of people of color, and we got to recognize this. And I want people to just travel more and to be more cultured and understand history of not just Spain and so many different places around the world that African people have history in. And that's part of my job, to bring you guys this history. It's one of the things that I really want to do. I really want to get into the history before the British royal family and all these royal families that exist. It's something I'm going to do down the line because there's so much history there, but we're not to that point yet. But we got to really get this and understand it and know it, because too many people getting into these debates and they don't know anything past slavery. People say commit this, commit that, but it's a lot more history. As I put out my video that's on YouTube, the many hidden accomplishments of African people, watch that video and understand, like, we did a lot, and we set up a lot of civilizations before these Europeans conquered. And we got to remember that. We got to stay engaged in that type of information and really get it in and talk about it and conversate about it. And we flood, it's sick to me, it's crazy. We flood Facebook with so much nonsense, or we're not dialoguing about the real history. African history is crazy. More people talking about LeBron James and Kevin Durant, the NBA Finals and everything like that. A lot of people not really talking about this kind of stuff and talking about real African history. I love when I see on the timeline when some people they put up little clips or just little pictures of just history. A lot of people doing that a lot more too. As a matter of fact, I love seeing that when people say, "Hey, did you know, such and such did such and such, or black people did this, and black people was the first to do this." We need more of that kind of stuff circulating on the timelines, and not so much of this, trash. It's not really gonna benefit us, as a whole. Got to be more cultured. We got to know more about our history. We gotta make it more known, because they follow us. And this is what the powers that be know. The world's following us. Everybody's trying to live the same culture as we live. Everybody copy off of us. They wear their hair like us, they dance like us, they dress like us, they talk like us. You can't turn on the TV and look at no kind of news media coverage of anything and not hear slang. Not hear people try to sound like us or say a word that we use and try to use our type of culture. It's everywhere. As I talked about before, our consciousness is driving this planet. And if we don't take control of it, then, we're going to keep losing. We're going to keep, falling and staying in its position of oppression if we don't take control of it. So by traveling more, by doing more, and by understanding history, we can begin to kind of sort of grasp real culture and grasp history and put it out there and get people to know the true history of, their so-called homeland that really was once ours. But just wanted to put this video out and kind of touch on that a little bit, because it's just something that I noticed in a lot of places that I travel to. Going to Kemet end of next month. So I'll be in Egypt, finish Saturn, Satan 6, and a couple other things. A lot of traveling coming up I'm going to be doing. I want to thank everybody who bought the Buddhism DVD and who supports and been, cut the prices in half, and people been, buying, which is good. I want people to get this information, so it will never go any higher than what it is. It'll only go lower if possible. But thanks to everybody who supported and continue to support and buy. Thanks to everybody who subscribed so far and who follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Again, at the real Merkabah, follow me. Check out some of the pictures, and I'm going to be doing most of the updates on social media and on my emailing list. Merkabah at therealmerkabah.com. Send me an email so I can add you to the list, and putting out information and sending people information that way. As I talked about before, the censorship is just ridiculous now. So this is the best way for me to get information out. Rebuilding my website, trying to do a lot. And as I talked about before, so yeah, I want to thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for, being there. A lot of people, I got so many messages and emails from people, hey, because I put the pictures up on Facebook and Instagram, what have you, that I was flying out. And a lot of people, send a lot of support, a lot of love when I travel. And I appreciate that. But yeah, thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you guys next video. Thanks for watching.